then from 39.5 to 44.5, then from 44.5 to 49.5, and our class boundaries are done. So we need to find the frequency, the frequency of the values that are being given. So you need to go from every class, you look for the values that fit in that class. So from a class of 10 to 14, you look for values that vary from 10 to 14. And when you make sure you label them differently so that they don't confuse you. So we got 4 values that belong to the 10 to 14 class. Then we got 5 values that belong to the 15 to 19 class. 11, 3, 7, 3, 4, 3, respectively. And then you have to add to find the summation of the frequency, and that's 40. You have to make sure that the sum that you've got is equal to the number of values that have been given in the question. Then immediately we find the cumulative frequency. So for cumulative frequency, make sure that the first value of the cumulative frequency is always the same as the first value from the frequency. And then the last one is always the same as the summation of your frequency.
An apple costs 500 shillings each, and oranges cost 250 shillings each. And she's given only 2,000 shillings to spend. This is our statement, and we can derive our first inequality from there.
So you should come out with something like this. It's a drawn graph. So when you have this, you get your values.
Formatting the digits 8, 5, and 7 without repeating any digit in the number form. Write down the possibility space for numbers form. So we're going to start by listing down the number of elements in like the number of sample spaces, and we do this by listing down our numbers in ascending order. So we have, since they told us our numbers are 5, 7, and 8, we start with 5. 5, 7, 8, 5, 8, 7. These are possible numbers that can be formed. Then we go to 7, which is 7, 5, 8, and 7, 8, 5. Then we go to 8, which is 8, 5, 7, and 8, 7, 5. So the question is write down the possibility space for numbers formed, which is basically how many members are in this set. So we have number S, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your number of possibility space is 6.
Hope you all know how I'm getting that. So therefore h of negative 2 is going to be given by the formula.
You get to know another person's point of view and what they've been learning, and maybe if there's something contradicting, and you get to know that not everything is hard, because we've been learning these things in like topics. If we learn like everything at the same time, it's going to be hard, but as long as we section it into topics, then it's a lot easier to understand and very much broken down.
E-learning has been a wonderful experience. It has made learning possible in a sense that even if you're at home, you can get a chance to access learning. Just like in lockdown, many people in many areas, many students have been able to access learning, even though their teachers weren't around.
Because times are changing, and most of the things people have been taught in math these days aren't going to really help them. But through this seminar, we've been able to see how different topics are used in our lives. So the government needs to create more programs like this seminar in order to help and help people like, let's say in Karamoja, who can't really access it, so that we can all work together and in future at least have more women professors in math.
It has been a wonderful experience. We had time to interact with our learners even when they're at home. Our teachers, by those days, used to move around with chalk everywhere. I no longer use chalk. I now teach even in class. I use this technology. So I would like to thank Honorable Ngobi and Mr. Du for bringing this challenge to us. At first we think things are not possible, but now we can have a seminar for the whole country, in your schools. It has cut down the costs of carrying students from one place to another in the name of a seminar and the risks, all the risks involved. So I think it is a way to go. I call upon all my colleagues, math teachers, science teachers, history, all teachers all over the country to embrace online learning.
I would like to appeal to the government to support the research institutions that that have come up to support the school, such as the Research Network of Uganda REM, that if at all the government can hope to reduce on the costs of the internet, then you can have very many schools connect online and they can be able to learn. So if at all that the internet costs are reduced, we shall have the gap narrowed. The gap between the urban and the rural schools will be narrowed, and then we shall be promoting the sustainable development goal number 4.
Minus origin of A. Then plus origin of C minus origin of B. Then plus origin of A minus origin of C.
8 minus 6x over x plus 3, x squared plus 4, dx same as in 125 over 128 as required.
Half minus, since we are using quotient rule, keep this constant, differentiate the x cubed, I'm going to get at the L, because if I differentiate L, it's going to remain as a 1. So over G. This one I divided this side, get at the T, the L. This 2T, I'm going to divide it and come this side. It will become 4 pi squared over 2T, the T, the L, to be equal to 4 pi squared over, this one is going to come here to get 2gt. From here, I'm going to go on with our question asking for the percentage error, but in the question we are given the error made in increasing the length.
These seminars are beneficial to me because there are some topics that we grasp in class, and okay, you're not well conversant with them, but if at all you get time and you're exposed to other schools and you see how other teachers teach them, you can at least pick something to add on what you have. I feel like sometimes I don't want them, but if at all you come to the seminars and there is another student presenting it in a different way, and it's more simpler according to the way you were taught about it, and the other one is presenting it in a simpler way, there is a way you grasp it easier than the way you would have got it in class. So
some numbers are, like when we do them as us, they're somehow lengthy and long. They're lengthy in their methods. But when you are like in those seminars, like the virtual ones, you get a simpler method which is somehow short and maybe that is understandable by someone.
During these virtual seminars, we also share, just in case we have something wrong, we can be corrected by other teachers from different schools and our teacher.
First of all, before I joined HELP, I didn't know that we can reach all over the country just online. But after I joined HELP, I would teach students online from different schools, and I found it a good thing because I was not limited only to Ampeo, but I was becoming a national teacher, teaching different schools, but at the same time through the e-learning process.
In addition to sharing knowledge, a student is traveling countrywide, knowing different places, different schools without leaving the school. It also improves on their communication skills as they answer the questions, and also it gives them self-confidence. And since they are using gadgets that are of modern technology, it also helps them improve on the way they are manipulating the gadgets.
I've said don't deny your learners this opportunity. Let them participate freely, they'll enjoy, they'll learn, they get used to the virtual world. This is where we are going. We are talking about entering into the metaverse, so where everything is connected. You can see that we have a few teachers handling the sessions, and you can reach more students in more places when you have not even moved an inch. So that is a very good positive development. We can be able to reach very many students and offer them high quality learning just at the convenience of their phone or a laptop or school lab.
Today we have seen the virtual mathematics seminar where many schools come together and we see students from across the divide talking together, learning from each other, listening in to one teacher and sharing. And I think through technology we should be able to close this gap within our schools. Our schools are not at the same level. We don't have enough teachers. We don't have the same teachers across schools. But when you bring schools together like this, then it means that you are closing the learning gap. But beyond that, the children grow as one child, as one citizen of Uganda. And that is to promote patriotism. When they come to the university, they are one. They know that we learned together, we are one school. Otherwise, if this does not happen, then we begin to see fragmented learning, we see unpatriotic citizens, we see children who are only concerned about their own colleagues with whom they studied, and that is not very good. So I want to request all the schools to work very hard and bring technology to their classes, bring internet into their schools, and organizations like Renew are here to support us with minimal costs. And the beauty with having Renew connecting all our schools is that when you're on the same network, then it is cheap and easy for you to interact.
As Renew and as the vehicle that was started by the Vice Chancellor and ED, what we have done was to bring together these education institutions in Uganda, including schools, onto one network so that they can be able to collaborate and do a lot more together than they had been doing in the past. So they can collaborate nationally, regionally, and internationally using Renew. We have been extending internet connectivity to a number of schools, a number of universities, and a number of research institutions in Uganda, and now our network is countrywide. So be it in Chisoro, be it in Arua, Kampala, Mbale, Far North, Renew is present. Today we have been hosting the command center for the virtual mathematics seminar led by Mr. Dungu and the help team. And what we have been doing was to provide that connectivity where our students can showcase themselves and their schools. And they have been discussing mathematics numbers. Very interesting, very entertaining. And using their technologies, their knowledge, they have been able to present to some of the schools. And before COVID or before this, the students had to use buses to go and meet physically in one point. Now, and that would only restrict them to about 10 schools that would be able to transport over 210 students from their schools to here. Now they can sit at the comfort of their schools, listen in, and also participate virtually. And this is the value proposition that Renew is bringing. That once we have the schools all together on one network, they are able to actually collaborate with one another. Today it's virtual seminars, tomorrow it's something else. Doing something else with the national teachers, doing with something else with the student teachers, our researchers, our lecturers, our students from the universities. So I would encourage, please join Renew, let's collaborate.